The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow waterway. It connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. It is a crucial shipping route. About 20% of the world's oil supply passes through this strait. This makes it a vital artery for the global economy. Any disruption to the flow of oil through this strait would have severe consequences. The world watches, with bated breath. The Strait of Hormuz is a potential flashpoint. Iran has threatened to close the strait in the past. This was in response to sanctions and military pressure. The threat alone is enough to send shockwaves through the global energy market. The possibility of Iran following through on its threat is a constant source of anxiety. The stakes are incredibly high. The Strait of Hormuz is surrounded by countries with a history of conflict. This volatile mix raises the risk of unintended escalation. A misunderstanding or miscalculation could quickly spiral out of control. The international community is deeply concerned about the potential for conflict in this region. The consequences of a closure of the Strait of Hormuz would be catastrophic. The world is holding its breath. The Strait of Hormuz remains a point of global concern. The free flow of oil through this narrow passage is essential for global economic stability. The possibility of disruption looms large. The international community must work together to avert disaster. U.S.-Iran relations have been strained for decades. The relationship reached a boiling point during the Trump administration. President Trump withdrew the U.S. from the Iran nuclear deal. He imposed crippling sanctions on Iran. Tensions escalated further. Trump demanded Iran's complete disarmament. This included their nuclear program and ballistic missiles. He threatened Iran with military action. His rhetoric was seen as provocative and reckless. It further alienated Iran. The Iranian leadership viewed Trump's demands as an attack on their sovereignty. They refused to negotiate under duress. They vowed to resist U.S. pressure. The situation became increasingly dangerous. The U.S. and Iran remain locked in a dangerous standoff. Mistrust and animosity run deep. The risk of miscalculation is high. The world watches nervously. Iran has responded to U.S. pressure with defiance. They have conducted military exercises in the Persian Gulf. They have threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz. They have also increased their support for proxy groups in the region. Iranian military leaders have issued direct threats against the U.S. They have vowed to target U.S. bases in the region. They have also threatened to attack U.S. allies, such as Israel. These threats are designed to deter U.S. aggression. Iran has been developing its missile capabilities. They have tested ballistic missiles capable of reaching Israel and U.S. bases in the Middle East. This has raised concerns about Iran's intentions. Iran's military posturing is a show of force. They are sending a message that they will not be intimidated. They are prepared to defend themselves against any attack. The escalating tensions between the U.S. and Iran have serious global repercussions. The possibility of a military conflict is a major concern. A war in the Middle East would be devastating. One of the most immediate impacts of a conflict would be on oil prices. Iran has threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz. This would disrupt global oil supplies. Prices would skyrocket. The global economy is heavily reliant on oil. A sharp rise in oil prices would trigger a global recession. Businesses would suffer. Consumers would face higher prices. The impact would be felt worldwide. Another concern is the possibility of a wider conflict. The U.S. and Iran have allies in the region. A conflict between the U.S. and Iran could draw in these allies. This could lead to a regional war. The consequences would be catastrophic.